Hey neighborhood church, Meg here. Just wanted to share one of my favorite Christmas songs, which was really hard for me because I love Christmas music. I pretty much listened to it beginning of October all the way through probably the first few weeks of January. But I would have to say it's Oh Holy Night. Just the lyrics are so powerful, and I just love just the poeticness of it all. It's just very grounding and spiritually motivating. So Merry Christmas.
My favorite Christmas hymn is no doubt, "O Come All You Faithful." I love all Christmas carols. I mean, they're all important to me, but for some reason, this one has always been a big deal for me. And it's something I love that one. We sang it in church right at the beginning of Advent. So for me, growing up, it was like the start of things. And I just think it calls you to come. And that's always been a powerful thing for me.
Well, hello again, Neighborhood Church friends and family. Thank you again for joining us for another midweek Advent devotional thought and song. Just a reminder that we are in a sermon series at Neighborhood Church called Glory in the Highest. And this sermon series is reminding us that as God enters into our experience, we respond with worship, singing the song of the angels, glory to God in the highest. And every week we've released short midweek devotionals that focus on different Christmas songs, just as we're doing on Sunday as well. And today's song that we're going to spend some time in is the First Noel. And this is one of my favorite Christmas songs. Every time I hear it, it reminds me that the Christmas season is here. It might sound funny, but this Christmas tune is full of peace, it's full of nostalgia, and it's full of celebration. Every time I hear it, I feel those things. Maybe you feel similar things about this song or other songs, but that's not what we're going to focus on for this song today. You know, there's not a lot known about the First Noel, besides that it was written sometime in the 1800s, so it's a few hundred years old, and it's an unusual English Christmas folk song because of the way that it was written musically. That's about all that's really known of the First Noel. But as we look at the lyrics and listen to the lyrics as it's sung today, I hope that you pick up on some of the biblical themes in this song. What's interesting to me about this song is it's written about the shepherd's experience, about the angels coming and announcing the birth of Jesus, the promised one, the Messiah, the promised king that God would send. And the angels show up to the shepherds and announce that Jesus is born in this massive scene that no doubt was frightening. And what I think is really interesting about that concept is that when you think of shepherds, we tend to think of the nativity scenes that we all have in our house, or maybe a Jesus story that we've read or a movie that we've seen. And the shepherds are kind of depicted nicely, you know. We think of them with warm thoughts, or we think of them fondly. But back in the day, when shepherds were a thing in Jesus' day, they were not thought of very fondly. Actually, they were kind of put on the outskirts of town. Nobody wanted to be around them. They thought they were dirty. They were smelly. They spent all their time with animals. Nobody wanted to be a shepherd, up all nights, trading who's sleeping and who's watching the animals with other shepherds. It just was not a desirable job. You might even see being a shepherd on the show Dirty Jobs, perhaps, if that existed. But shepherds were not desirable. They were laughed at, made fun of sometimes. And it was precisely the shepherds that God chose to make a huge announcement, the first announcement that his son Jesus was born, that God, Emmanuel, God with us, was coming to be on earth. Think about it. God chose the lowliest of professions, the lowliest of people to make this announcement to. God chose who was unwanted. God chose who was ridiculed and laughed at to make a huge announcement, to share the good news for the first time that Jesus was born. it really tells a story of who our God is. Our God is the one who chooses to take the humble and exalt them, to lift up those who are broken and lowly. I love this song because it tells that story and it reminds me of that truth about who God is. And I hope that as we sing the song, you are reminded of that as well, and that God meets you in the area where you are feeling low, where you are feeling burdened, exhausted, and tired. May you feel encouraged because our God is Emmanuel, God with us, the God who meets those who are low and burdened, exhausted, tired, ridiculed, made fun of, and forgotten, and treats them with honor, with dignity, with love. May you encounter that God today. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to serve